manager. He obviously is an excellent manager. Okay, people say he took over a great team, which he did, but he still had to manage that team through the season. And you could have forgiven him or any manager who didn't win the league at his first attempt. So I think that's going to be good. That's for him. And I imagine he's got or will be given an even better contract after what is a brilliant season. So yeah, I mean, he was literally on the beach, I suppose, along with the team. Does it give a good example? Again, it all depends, doesn't it, on what he's actually what the visuals look like. I mean, is it a kind of a photograph that kind of compromises him in some way? Probably not. But yeah, the fact that he's even there, I mean, it's known to be a very young person's place, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's wholly appropriate. The players could well have been a bit surprised if they'd turned up there and see old Arne giving it, as I say, giving it large somewhere. But no, I don't suppose it will affect him. But in general terms, I think managers, football managers, any managers, have to see themselves as separate from the staff, from the team. Because much as you might want to be part of the lads and the lasses, you can't if you're their boss. You can't, and that's a principle I learned in my working life. That I mean, I enjoyed socialising with my staff. I did, but you realise early on that there are limitations. That if you want to retain that kind of the respect and that they look to you as a manager, as their boss, you have to separate yourself out a bit. So if Arne Slot started sort of doing this every time they have a break, he goes off to Ibiza and then he's seen on the dance floor in a nightclub in Liverpool, then I suggest he might have to reappraise his actions. But it probably was nothing like that in truth. What do you think? Do you think he should keep separate from the players?
I don't know really, because all right, so he's the manager, but then he's still a human. So I'm thinking if he wants to have fun, that's allowed. I don't think there's any rule that says managers can't have fun in their own free time. Let's put it that way. And so I think is well in line to do that if he wants to. He wants to dance on the dance floor and. But having said that, where I would draw the line is if he was involved in anything that would then bring reproach to the team as a whole. So for instance, if he got drunk
which is going to happen, isn't it, to people will get drunk. It happens to all of us.
And get in a fight, then what are you going to tell the players then? You're going to say, well, you're doing it, boss, so yeah, that's sort of where I draw the line. But if he's out on the dance floor doing karaoke, dancing, and it's nothing wrong with that. That's the way I looked at it anyway. But yeah, it's Arne Slot. You kind of think of him as somebody. You don't think of him in that light, do you? You don't think.
No, you don't.
I'm gonna see Arne Slot. Just giving it all. Just giving it all. I don't know. I mean, if it was English, I would say it probably wouldn't do that, but you never know. He's Austrian, isn't he? So they
He's
might
Dutch. He's Dutch. He's
is
Dutch,
it
I
Dutch?
believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, they might party. They might party in a different way. They might have their own. They might have their own ways of partying. So when I saw that, I thought, good on you, man.
Mm.
That's what I thought. I thought, well,
Well,
you
good for
know,
him. Yeah,
but
good for him.
yeah, good for him. As long as it doesn't result in anything that then comes to bite him, you know, just just watch out. If I was him, I would have some paid security around, you know, like one or two, because you know you don't necessarily have to be the one that causes a provocation. It can happen. Yeah, it can just come.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes. Especially when people know that you're famous, they try to get something out of you.
Well, anyone who's well known does
Yeah.
run the risk of somebody else trying to look big in front of their mates or something, and you know, having a go at you, sort of thing. So yeah, you're right. It's good to have some security.
It's good to have some security. Yeah. So just briefly, we'll go to Spain now. So Real Madrid lost against Barcelona again. So Arne Slot's fate is obviously sealed. He's gonna be leaving. I think it started with the loss to Arsenal when they played in the Premier League, and now he's had a few losses, and now but I think he's going to be coaching Brazil. That's what the rumor says. He's going to Brazil to take up the coaching national team. So that will be a good job for him.
I think you said Arne Slot again. You didn't mean Arne Slot, did you?
Oh right, sorry, Carlo Ancelotti.
Ancelotti. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Ancelot. So it sounds a bit. No, you may have said that. Ancelot. It sounds the same.
All right.
Doesn't it?
Did I? All right. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So Carlos Ancelot. Yeah. So he's obviously going to Brazil. Now the better question is, who's going to be his replacement?
Yeah.
I would say Jurgen Klopp. What would you say?
I think there was a rumor that someone suggested it could be Klopp, but I'm not sure he's going to want another challenge this quick. I mean, I say this quick; it's a full season, isn't it? But he had 9 years at Liverpool in 2015, I think. He did very well there. He did win the domestic league. He won the Champions League. And possibly one or two other cups. So, and he obviously got very close to the players there and so on. Now, I seem to remember him saying he wanted a break from football or from football management, and then he would decide what he wants to do. Now, it depends on the person, doesn't it? If he feels, having had a year off, where he's had the freedom to go and watch whatever matches he wants, to spend time with his family, and all the things you might do when you're not got the demands of a high pressure job like a football manager, he may have grown to quite like that. And he might think his thought process could be, well, do I really want to go back to that pressure? I mean, he's like many people in his position. He's not in a financial pressured situation, one imagines, because they earn so many millions of pounds and his bonuses at Liverpool, etc. He's a multi-millionaire. So the pressure doesn't come from lack of potential finance if you got sacked, but it comes from your own standards about what you want to achieve, what you've achieved in the past, and you know you're going to have to work very hard again to achieve what you've done before. Now, sometimes, and what is he? He's about 55, I think. You know, a lot of people retire early by that stage anyway, or used to, if not now. And he might just think, actually, I love the freedom. And I'm sure I read, that he might be in line for Real Madrid. But then, I can't remember now, it's a week or so ago, but either he said or somebody said on his behalf that there was something else he was going to do, connected with football. And I can't think what it was. But to answer the question, I don't think he'll go to Real Madrid. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's going to want that top job where there's such a huge expectation, like let's face it, there is at Liverpool and Man City and Barcelona. It's one thing to go to a mid-table, a team you can improve, but to go to a club which is traditionally at the top of its game and has been for donkey's years, been the big one of two Spanish teams. Does he really want that? if you're in love with football, which he obviously is, and you love that day-to-day pressure, then great, he may take it. But I don't think he'll go for that. I don't.
Right. So, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I always get it mixed up. I know the three names, but I seem to forget the order of it. But anyway. Right. But anyway, so he's going to Real Madrid now. I think that's probably decided. I don't know, but
Well, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So he's definitely leaving Liverpool. And I think they're getting somebody called Frimpong or something. I can't remember what club he's from, as a replacement for him. But then the main question is, how is he going to pair with Jude Bellingham? I mean, Jude Bellingham hasn't necessarily been at his top of performance
No, he hasn't.
The latter part of the season. How do you think he's gonna? Do you think he's gonna pair well with? I mean, they're obviously not playing the same wing, but good fit for the team. Do you think for Real Madrid?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's an excellent footballer. Let's face it, he's been on Liverpool's books since he was 6, so he clearly demonstrated a heck of a lot of ability even at that young age, and they've nurtured him ever since. And he's now about 26, I think, 26, 27, 26. And he's a great footballer. He's a bit of a utility man. I think he's better going forward rather than being a defensive right back, as it may have been called one time. I think he's a good wing back, but I think Klopp always gave him license to kind of go into midfield. And I think there was a time going back a year or two where I think one or two of the pundits, like Graham Souness at the time and others, said that he was probably the best creative midfield player, although he wasn't really playing in midfield because he was taking any sort of free kicks from the midfield, and his passing was always very good. He could do a great crossfield pass and so on.
Yeah, sorry to cut you. It's just this is all we've got time for. Yeah, sorry. Do you want to do the conclusion, please?
Yeah, well, I was cut off in my prime there because I'm surprised. No, not at all. I'm surprised 40 minutes went so quickly.
No,
but anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Next week we'll be no doubt considering the Spurs Manchester United Europa final, as well as the Crystal Palace Manchester City final. So we can look at those and debate them, and I can let you know what it was like at Wembley this coming Saturday. So this is all we've got time for. Hope you join us next week. I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv.
And I'm Emmy Hikins, and he calls me cuz. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye.